What's going on, everybody? I'm YouTube's PopeyJN. Welcome to Ben Wonder Presents A Case of Distrust. From the sense of this, I feel like it's a very noir-feeling case. A very noir-feeling game. So, with that being said, boom! Black and white, baby. It's back. Hell yeah. Let's get in and solve some cases. Alright. Here we go. I awoke in my desk chair. Across from me were his piercing amber eyes. They surprised me at first, but I should have known he'd be there. I stretched and said, mid-yawn, "Not very nice to sneak into a sleeping woman's apartment." But his stare just continued. I laughed at his glare. I cursed the open window. I laughed at his glare. Oh, I have to make decisions? Okay, I need to, I cursed the open window. Of course, that's how he'd enter. I'd hoped to finally reset my eyes a while, but fate often disagrees with me. I knew I didn't have what he wanted. Reaching into my coat, I took out a knife and flicked it open. I held the knife steady, while staring back at him. "Look," I said, nodding towards the desk. "That's all there is. Take it or leave it." But a detective knows when she's beat. I don't know why I'm giving her a masculine voice if it's a girl. It just doesn't feel the same with kind of going, "And I knew then he wanted to search the place, and that's what he would do." Actually, that kind of does work. I sighed, knowing my weakness for his type. "All right," I said. "Let's look." What is his voice? He let her out gleefully, meow in victory. I cut a piece of my apple that my cat had rejected. "Always the sore winner," I jabbed. Now I just kind of sound like the jerk. What the? But I was smiling too, because I was telling the truth. There was absolutely no other food in my apartment. I don't know what this voice is. I want to go back to the guy voice, because I like that better. The cat often dropped by to scavenge. He made a lot of noise when he thought I was holding out on him. But right now, the place was clean, empty. No food anywhere. I had to prove it to him. Oh, okay. Actually get to highlight shit? Oh. That lamp had belonged to my Uncle Lewis. He'd been a SFPD officer. Who argue police women could be good detectives, even while the others jeered at me. I knew he'd been right, but my current workload didn't help that claim. I thought about Lewis more often than I wanted. I was lousy at handling the emotions behind these thoughts. Alright. What's in here? The regular white icebox, tinged yellow with age, half blocked the kitchen doorway. My income rarely kept much stocked in it, and right now, it was empty. Okay. A newspaper was flopped on the floor. Its headline about the death of Lenin, leader of the Red Menace, sweeping Russia. It seemed the Bolsheviks had lost their heads. I can read. The cat had waltzed into my apartment a few years earlier. It kept coming back, though there was rarely a morsel to eat. He'd continue his loud meowing until I'd prove to him that the place was empty of food. Can we talk to the cat? Oh, hi. It doesn't matter how doughy-eyed you are, cutie pie. We got no food around, I told him. He licked his chops and looked at me. Apparently he still didn't believe that. I needed to contradict him somehow. To show him something in the apartment that would prove it was empty of food. Let's contradict him. Case summary. There were no cases just then, but the cat was meowing and needed attention. I had to contradict the cat. Alright, show the cat that there's no food. Is there any evidence? Icebox? Used to contradict? I opened the icebox so the cat could see inside. Empty, I told him. The cat looked quizzically at the open door, then back at me. Sorry, fella. There's no grub in there for me either. He stared at me with those eyes, disappointed as I felt. Those big yellow eyes got to my soul. Thoughts of my family filled the air. My sister, Muriel, had sent a letter with an update of her life in Chicago. What a bitch. She and her husband had just purchased a new home outside the bluster of the city. Their 3 young children were looking forward to the move. I never told Muriel. But those letters... I never told Muriel, but those letters I mostly ignored. At the time, her family was the last thing I wanted to read about. My sister had the ordinary lifestyle that I just rejected. I'd wanted to change the world, to bring justice for victims. Especially those that no longer had a voice. Not that I was helping advance that cause with the types of cases coming my way. My mind spiraled into the usual series of questions. Had I ever impacted the women's movement? Had I made any change to society at all? Was my plodding career worth losing traditional happiness? What was the point in the life I had chosen? A wild meow came from the cat. Snapped my thoughts back into the moment. I took a deep breath and grinned back at him. Guess you can scram now, I said. Nobody's gonna be, come knocking at you with food, are they, fella? Or maybe they are. Alright, I'm gonna do my usual voice, because I can't keep doing that. There immediately came a banging on the front door. Beyond a nuisance, this cat was psychic too. You order out, I asked? Open the door. In the doorway was a regrettably familiar face of Connor Green. His company churned my stomach. Might have been his bergamot perfume. which hung around my nostrils like a lingering unwanted guest, or that sordid smile which was forever plastered on his face. He stared at me through the doorway with a coy smile. "Well, ain't you gonna invite me inside?" I let him through the door before closing it. "Hey now," he said, looking at my apartment. "You know, this clutter might turn off some customers, but maybe not me, though." So that was his angle, hiring me as a detective. I wondered what a bootlegger would need with a private eye, but he answered that without a prompt. "I'll make this quick. I can't take this to the hog house, or the pigs would laugh me out. And other dicks just aren't as tempting." His grin widened. "Thought this was going to be quick," I said. I started rolling a cigarette. It wasn't quick, and I'd already rolled and lit... Is that a typo? I had already rolled and lighted a second smoke when Green finally finished his story. I noted the important bits of my book, if that's any consolation. It had started with a letter slipped under his door in a white envelope. The envelope contained a single typewritten leaf, which he handed to me. It read, "End your game, or we'll end you." It had no signature, instead ending with only a small scribble at the bottom right corner that resembled a black hand. Green had a lead on a new rum-running scheme, a connection from Vancouver. He had given a sample to Tiny Paul, the gangster that ran the Tin Spoon speakeasy for mob boss Jerry Ferry. They'd agreed to buy it and for more. Green surmised the letter it was about rum running. He suspected Redstone Stable, another bootleg, of sending the letter. He had told that stable ran a barber shop during the day and gave me the address. Green needed to know who the threat was from. He'd get Paul's gang to deal with them and continue his scheme to get rich. "If I go snooping myself," he concluded, "folks see I'm not trusting people. No trust leads to no customers. I need to play it low-key. Which is where you come in." I raised an eyebrow and stared at him through the cigarette smoke. Something in his yawn was still twisted. He must have noticed my resistance because he said, "You know, I worked closely with Lewis. I'm sure he'd want to protect me as much as any other victim." My uncle. Lewis had put me on the force. I'd finally accepted Lewis's death. I was still searching for answers. I'd finally accepted Lewis's death. It was the only conclusion possible. He'd taken his own life. He was the only officer who'd let me walk the beats, or do more at crime scenes than comfort a widow. He'd been obsessed with helping victims and bringing justice to those beyond salvation. I'd quit the SFPD and started my own practice, taking his ethos to heart. Was Green worth my time? Would he be worth Lewis's? Green had tipped off my uncle in a few cases. Wondered if that was enough to warrant my protection. Before I could think past my headache, he threw a bill in my lap. "Keep the C-note as a retainer. And don't worry about getting in touch. I'll find you later for a chat. He walked out the front door and I let him go. If he was willing to give me $100 with no commitment, I wouldn't stop him. I turned back to the apartment, still confused about the whole story. My headache wasn't helping either. Whenever I lacked clarity, a trip to Southern Coffee was usually the cure. Okay. Packaged cigarettes were the latest trend, but I still preferred to roll my own. The ashtray was evidence that I still practiced skill. I suppose I had a lot of free time back then. I kept a small statue underneath the side table. It had been police evidence in a crime scene, and its owner hadn't wanted it back. I took a shine to it, so I snagged it for myself on the way out of the department. I had taken copies of old murder cases from the SFPD records when I'd left. I loved reading through them, even though my own contributions were minimal. At that time, I longed for those types of jobs. The truth was, any work was hard to find for a female detective. My old notebook. Now filled to the brim. I wrote everything down, even the minor details. Never know what could be useful. The first half had my old cases. Details from my beats I used to walk in the policewoman days. Of course, policewomen were now forbidden to going on patrol, but Lewis had often overlooked that rule. What else? Nothing. Nothing else. Oh, here, door. I mounted a gold plate on the outside that read, PC Malone, Private Investigator. Leave. There was only one place I needed to clear my head. Southern Coffee. This is actually where I'm going to leave the first episode of this. This is actually a really cool story. I didn't actually think I'd get much from this. I thought it would be like a short 10-minute thing and that it wouldn't be that interesting, but it actually turned out to be really fucking interesting. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that it's a lot of reading and a lot of voices and stuff like that. I know that some people don't like these kind of playthroughs, but I like them, so I wanted to try it out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to favorite it. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, guys. Helps me out a lot. There are links to social media in the description box. And there's a new link to the new PopeyJN merch store coming very, very soon, guys. I promise you that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, I'm YouTube's PopeyJN. Peace out.
Beyond your trembling skin, beyond your wayward feet, and every solemn promise that you swore you would keep. When you saw yourself